Good afternoon, Santa Clara. I'm Mayor Lisa Gilmore. We are excited to be back for Mayor at Noon. Thank you for joining us today. You'll have an opportunity to ask us questions live. We are still experiencing the surge of COVID-19 cases. I encourage all of you to stay healthy and get vaccinated. There's a lot happening in our community this month. The City Council returned from recess. Most schools have started in-person learning, and our city has expanded in-person services at all our branch libraries. Our community, youth and senior centers are all offering recreation and programs for our residents. Every day through this pandemic, we still come together as a community. We have some great organizations that are part of Santa Clara. Today, I'm so honored to share with you JW House with its Executive Director, Richard Agelooney. Welcome, Richard.
Hi, Lisa. Thank you for having me.
It's so great to see you. JW House is located right here in Santa Clara at the Kaiser Permanente campus. I've had the opportunity to tour JW House many times. What an amazing place it has become. JW was a young boy who battled leukemia and brain cancer. JW and his family wanted to create a place where children and families facing similar medical situations had a home away from home. JW inspired many with his courage and selflessness. His legacy continues today to touch the lives of so many families. I am pleased again to introduce our viewers to Richard Agelooney, Executive Director of JW House. Welcome again, Richard.
Thank you, Lisa.
So, Richard, first of all, I'd like to start by asking you about yourself so our audience can get to know a little bit about you. What attracted you not only to be involved with the JW House, but as Executive Director? And did you always know that you wanted to serve the public in this way?
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. Great question. I grew up my parents were activists. Political discussions at the table, every night, and they were always, writing letters and protesting and making signs. And,
did they take you with them?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And they had, my dad always had donation envelopes in his jacket. He was a butcher by day, but he was really a fundraiser. So, for me, I feel like it was a very natural, almost like it's the family business for me.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So JW House was just a connection for you.
Yeah, well, I'm a Bellarmine alum, and I actually was an employee there about the same time JW was a student. Oh. And so I was very well of the story and the family, and I've kind of been tuned into JW House since, the early 2000s.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. Great. So members of our audience may not know about JW House, how it started, and who it serves. Can you start by giving us just a brief history of J.W. Knappen and his family? And tell us who J.W. House serves. Is it only families with children in the hospital? Because I think a lot of people think that those are the only families that it serves, people that just have children, but I think it's a lot more than that.
Yeah, we serve anyone, any age group or medical specialty. We have a lot of pediatric cases, of course, but we have a lot of adults with, cancer, transplants, spinal injuries. We serve anyone of any age. And I think that's what differentiates us from a lot of similar organizations. There are many good organizations that are just focused on pediatric cases, but we serve I'd say many children, but we serve all age groups.
Many people think of like the Ronald McDonald House, right? And that's pediatric only, right?
Yeah, they're a really important partner of ours, and we are, we stand together, and sometimes we don't have the capacity to serve a family that they do, or vice versa. So we're in very close contact with them all the time.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I think we have a little video here that we'd like to cue up to talk about JW, the boy,
great.
And where it started.
Yeah,
let's
great.
watch this.
that, when the caregiver goes back to the hospital, feels more relaxed, is more free to take care of the patient.
There's sort of an inherent problem in our healthcare system. I mean, the healthcare providers take care of the patient, but nobody's queued up to take care of the families of the patient, right? So that's really where we jump in, because no one's focused on caring for the families, the parents, the spouses of the sick person.
Wonderful, thank you. So, Richard, tell us about how your organization runs, your governance structure, and your day-to-day operations. It looks like a 24/7 operation. So, and also, how is JW's family involved? I saw his mother in the video, but tell us about that.
It is a 24/7 operation. We are a 501c3 or nonprofit organization, and Kaiser generously, leased this plot of land to us, and I think we're good until 2045, so we'll all be retired by then, I hope. But we have a volunteer board of directors, about 14 people, including both of JW's parents. They're very active and involved, and we see them all the time. I saw his mom last night. And we have 8 staff members and about 90 volunteers who work a regular schedule. People show up every day or every week, month after month, year after year, and continue to, just share the love and serve these families. They're like, your grandmothers, your aunts, your uncles, they're lovely people. Many are retired, and we have a very generous base of local supporters also. These are not people like Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg. They're people like me and you who write checks to us every year, and we're very fortunate that we have such a, deep foundation in the local community.
So you really rely on the local support, and I know there's a lot of nonprofit organizations that will volunteer to go over and make dinner and help out in every way possible.
Yeah, we have had dinners donated 365 nights a year for years and years. People bring these beautiful dinners, day after day, week after week.
I'll tell you my sister, a personal story. My sister had cancer when she was 14 in 1972 at Stanford, and they didn't really have anything for the families, and I would go visit my sister, and there was nothing. And to be dealing with a health emergency in your family, but then not being able to take care of the rest of your family while you're dealing with the health emergency it's just horrendously awful. Yeah. So JW House really has stepped up and helped so many people at such a terrible time and a critical time in their lives.
Yeah. I think JW's family experienced the same kind of hardship, and he saw that, and I think he didn't want other people to go through that hardship. He saw his parents struggling to care for their other 3 children and traveling to go visit specialists and things like that. And I think that was his, the essence of his idea.
What vision he had.
Yeah.
What vision that boy had for this. And I think we have a video that talks about your Chamberlain family.
Yeah,
so,
I'd love to see that again.
Yeah, let's cue that up.
So Reed's story started when I was pregnant. He has something called lumbar syndrome. And that basically means he has things in his lumbar area that are just atypical. They're just anomalies. So he's had a total of 10 surgeries over his life, and we have been able to utilize the JW House facilities for every single one of those surgeries. Our experience with the JW House has been pretty amazing. We've been staying there for the past almost 7 years. We have been able to use the day facilities. We've been able to use the overnight stays and just the food services that they have.
You walk in and you feel like it's home. It's not a hotel room. And you got great meals prepared and delivered to your room. Hard time when your kids or anybody's struggling in the hospital looking for a place to stay. It's just really comforting to walk through the doors and know that this is your home for your period of stay.
It really makes it feel like a home, doesn't it, to these families that are displaced from their surroundings?
I mean, the home, that was JW's vision, because many of our peer organizations have more of an institutional feel when you go inside, right. But JW really wanted a place that looked like a home, and that's why you'll see soft furniture and a fireplace, and every day of the year there are cookies or brownies in the oven, and you walk in and you feel like you're in someone's home.
Just the play structure in the backyard for,
Yeah.
for the siblings that really suffer a lot, silently suffer when one of their siblings may be in the hospital. I mean, it's pretty amazing. So JW House has been around for many years and has forged many partnerships with our community, both in sponsorships and volunteers, as we have talked about. Who's supporting the good work and that you are doing at the JW House? And you touched a little bit on it, like it's regular people, you're not getting the big donations from the companies, but it's the small businesses and others in the community that are supporting. But maybe we can change that too.
Yeah, we have some key partnerships with companies and organizations. Prometheus is a huge sponsor, and
Well, I'll talk about that a little later because they
Okay.
did give you a big donation too, didn't they?
Yeah,
Yes. So it's more small businesses and people that are nonprofit organizations that support. I sit on the Mission City Community Fund Board.
Oh,
and
yeah.
We're a big supporter of the JW House.
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
all the good work you did. So let's talk about Prometheus, because I just attended the ribbon cutting of your Prometheus family suite at the apartments near the JW House.
Yeah.
So tell us about these off-site accommodations, and is this the first in your off-site accommodations and the special partnership you have with Prometheus?
So we never have enough capacity at JW House, and we use 8 to 10 hotels every night for overflow.
Did you
And
say every night?
yeah. And it's very complicated to coordinate all of that, and it's costly because we pay for most of those hotels. I mean, we get discounted rates, but we still have to pay. And I went to Prometheus, who's a longtime sponsor, and I said, if we had a free apartment and we could set it up as a family suite, and for a family that's staying for a longer period of time, weeks or months.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah,
Instead
they're
of
more
hotel
comfortable
rooms.
there. And Prometheus responded, right away, and they said, we're in. Put us down for a year for a one-bedroom apartment for a year. So we furnished it, and we added a layer of, JW love, and we opened up on August 6th with our first family, and it's working.
Someone's in there already.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful apartment, and it has a really nice feel to it as well.
Yeah, so, we're engaged in conversations with a lot of other folks right now, trying to secure some more sponsorships for apartments. It's a really good way for us to expand. When you compare that to the cost of building a building or adding on to our existing building, everything, costs millions of dollars, and, we sort of found this great solution.
Especially the fact that the hotel rooms, even that you're renting, I think about the hotel rooms pre-COVID, how expensive they were.
Yeah.
Just to rent the hotel rooms and making sense. And ironically, that apartment is right across from the old Kaiser Hospital site. So you're all well within, distance,
Yeah.
close distance. Because one thing's the families, they don't want to travel to visit
Right.
their loved one or their family member.
Yeah, so we serve all the Silicon Valley hospitals, so our hope is that with this apartment program, we can maybe establish some apartments near the different hospitals, like Stanford or Valley Medical.
Okay.
So that offers a lot more flexibility, again, than building.
Yeah, that makes sense. So many of our organizations, and I know yours did too, had to either halt or discontinue services during the pandemic. So tell us about how you had to modify your services during these tough times. And then I'm going to ask you again, because as we all know, the second wave of cases with this Delta, all these variants, how is your organization coping with keeping the people that you are housing safe, but also providing the services that are needed?
Yeah, it was initially devastating to us, and I sat down with our board and our closest advisors, and we had some real serious conversations around the beginning of March last year, and we made the tough decision to close the house, which has never happened before, but we continued to house families by putting them in different hotels. It had a huge financial impact on us because instead of having dinners donated every year, now we're having to buy catered dinners and have them packaged and delivered to people. And instead of, and we had to pay for hotel rooms every night. So it was devastating, I'll say, emotionally and financially. But our most loyal supporters came through, and our incredibly, smart and creative young staff made it work. And I think we were closed for about 89 days. And then we started opening incrementally and adding services as we felt like we were ensuring the safety of our guests, volunteers, staff members, everyone who comes into the house.
Great. We all know that donations and sponsorships and grants are the lifeblood of any nonprofit organization. Can't get around it. So
Yeah.
what's the major revenue source for JW House? And I know you have an annual fundraiser
do.
event that I've been to. You got a little
Yeah.
virtual this year. So
Yeah.
tell us about how you had to change that up.
Yeah, well, Lisa had a co-starring role with Sharky in our breakfast this
Well,
year. But
I don't think, you say co-star, no, Sharky was the star. I was kind of just the one of the extras, I'd say.
yeah, I mean, you know, as a nonprofit, I mean, donations and sponsorship revenue is our lifeblood. We're much more heavily supported by individuals and families. So we get some corporate and foundation support, and that's great. But we, you know, somewhere around 45% of our budget comes from individual donations, people like me and you.
Okay, that's important. But I think that, you know, people may not know they need your services until they need your services. And when they need your services, or someone that they know need your services,
Yeah.
it's really important. And what you provide is invaluable to families. So
If a baby
Yes.
is, you know, if there's a premature birth, you usually don't know in advance, and it doesn't,
Right.
that baby doesn't care if it's COVID or not.
yeah, but you want to be,
Right.
as a mother, you want to be
yeah.
close to your child.
Yeah.
And, you know, you want to be there. The thought of leaving your child is just devastating to everyone. So the work that you do is just so incredible. So I know we're running a little short on time now, so I want to conclude the program with a request or a call to action from you, Richard, on behalf of JW House. What would you like to leave with our viewers, and what is your call to action?
I think it's important that everyone find something they care about and help out. Volunteer, donate. You know, my fondest hope is that you'll pick JW House, but everybody should pick something, and everyone who's, you know, gainfully employed should be out there helping some organization that means something to them. And again, JW House is a great place if you don't have an organization you're connected to, and I'd be happy to give anyone a tour anytime. I love to talk about JW House. But just find something that you care about.
I think that's really important, and we found that during this pandemic, people are picking things that they care about and discovering about organizations they didn't even know existed. Yeah. But the fact is, our community needs help. When people have health issues, they need help. The families need help and support. And I want to thank you for what you're doing for our community. Thank you for you know, continuing this vision of JW and to the Knappen family. Everything that they've done has been pretty incredible in this community, and it deserves our support.
Well, I want to thank you, Lisa, for helping us get the word out. We're a small organization. We don't have PR people. We don't have agencies. We just, you know, we depend on people like you, partners who will help us share our story.
No, and it's worth sharing, absolutely worth sharing. So I know that we're going to put up some information on JW House, how you can get involved, how you can connect with JW, but that's all the time we have for Mayor at Noon. Join us next time for Mayor at Noon. Until next time, be well, Santa Clara.